Hey, it's Rob with Phandroid.com, and I'm here with the Motorola Droid Turbo 2, which was just announced. It comes out on Verizon Wireless, and only Verizon Wireless, on October 29th. This is an awesomely interesting phone for a number of reasons. First of all, the screen is what Motorola is calling shatterproof. It's not glass. It's got 5 layers to it, and it's a feature they call Shatter Shield, but you should be able to drop it as they did in the presentation, and the screen will not shatter. So if you're clumsy, or you live an active lifestyle, and that is of concern to you, the Shatter Shield shatterproof screen is pretty awesome feature of this. Another feature is the battery. 3760 milliamp hour battery, which is humongous, and it also supports fast charging and 2 different standards of wireless charging. So in terms of battery life and just durability, this phone, the Turbo 2, is pretty much a beast. It does support fast charging, so it should give you 13 hours of juice in 15 minutes of charging, which is pretty ridiculous. It should last up to 48 hours as well. So let's just give you a little tour through the device. Micro USB 2.0 on the bottom. On the rear, you've got this 5 megapixel camera. On the front, there's a 21 megapixel camera. Micro SD slot at the top there, 3.5 millimeter headset jack. So pretty solid device of specs. The one thing people will be a little disappointed about is that it runs Android 5.1 Lollipop, 5.1.1 out of the box. So that's disappointing, and people are already concerned about when they might get an update, if ever. So that is a bit concerning. The processor on here, 810 Snapdragon. It's 3 gigs of RAM. There's 2 different versions of this in terms of storage. 32 gigabyte version, 64 gigabyte version. With the 64 gigabyte version, you can actually upgrade and get a different version of this phone once within your 2 years. So you can see we've got a white face and silver accents with the camera color, and this white soft touch rear. This is available on Moto Maker, so you can customize your own version, your own colors, your own materials with this. If you buy the 64 gigabyte version free of charge, you can send in your device once over 2 years and get a free change. So you get to kind of customize the look once throughout those 2 years, which is pretty neat. The screen is 5.4 inches quad HD screen, and it looks pretty nice. I've got no complaints there. It does look really nice. We'll see how it holds up, and if the surface is smooth and good to use, given that the material is not glass. We're all used to these Gorilla Glass screens, and that's not the case here. In terms of dimensions, 5.9 inches tall, 3.1 inches long, and in terms of depth, it is 0.36 inches thick, along with this curve. You can see the bottom is curved, so that's at the thickest part right there. People will likely complain about this Verizon check at the bottom, but it's much more inconspicuous compared to previous devices with the simplification of their logo, and you've got the Droid branding there on the back as well. What else can we tell you about this right out of the gate? It does record in 4K video. The rear camera will, and it has video HDR, slow motion video in 60 frames per second, video stabilization. And the front camera isn't like a blow-away camera. It's 5 megapixels, but it's also a wide-angle lens, so for those selfies it should be really good. What else do we have here? It's got all the typical connections with GPS, Bluetooth, NFC that you can expect. And all in all, it's just a really solid device of specs. But the home run hitting here is with the battery and with the screen that's unbreakable. So a lot of people are really going to like this. Of course, they're going to like it if they're Verizon wireless customers. If you're not a Verizon wireless customer, you're going to be wondering why the heck did Motorola agree to release this on only Verizon, or why is Verizon monopolizing the market by not making this a phone that's available to the masses. But it looks really nice, feels really nice. It's a big phone. It's not a light phone either, but for people who complain about battery life, which is pretty much everybody with a smartphone that uses it consistently, here's your answer right here. It's the Motorola Droid Turbo 2 for Verizon. That's a quick look. Stay tuned for a full review, tips and tricks, and all that stuff on both Phandroid.com and AndroidForums.com. Thanks, guys.